welcome back to Vampire. So, what are we gonna do tonight? It's the night number 2. We just came from meeting the night courier, who turned out to be an old allegiance of ours. And I already looked a little bit. We have the ability to go to the last resort, our temporary haven. If you're Ravnos, home is just a dead memory. You've only got a bunch of hideouts, some better than others, each offering a day's worth of safety. And one of them is close by, just waiting for me to hunker down and collect my thoughts. Or we can go have a feeding opportunity, a dance floor drenched in darkness, the beat dropping like it's on fire, warm bodies pressing tight, bust high, and full of precious blood. This club is the prime spot to sink my teeth in. So, vampires need blood. So that's one thing. And in the vampire role-playing game, usually you have a concept called hunger. And if your hunger is higher, then you want to feed. Now, in this game, I actually don't know. I don't know if you're hungry because I see on the left side, I cannot select it, with my controller at least, I cannot go here to the left side to select these two icons that are beneath New York. And I don't know what they represent. So I think the left one is probably hunger because this is the icon for feeding. And it's these fangs. So I suppose the left one is probably also hunger. It seems like it's empty. And then the one on the right, I would guess it's the hunters because we had this concept selected at the beginning of the game that we want to play with hunters enabled. So I think that's the attraction that hunters are giving us. So I think there's some progress made because we already attacked some of them. So it feels like we're not hungry. But at the same time, I feel like it would be fun to do the little detour to have a feeding opportunity on the dance floor. So I think I will go because I think we're a little bit sick of this Patrick guy, of this whole thing. Let's maybe enjoy a little bit of nightclub entertainment just before the sun goes up and just, sate our thirst. We're not really hungry, but we have a thirst. Nice. The moment I step in the club, I know it's an excellent place to hunt. Crowded with mortals, blackout drunk, and high out of their minds, swaying, jumping, writhing on the dance floor like there's no tomorrow. Only tonight, only now, only ecstasy. I'm gonna quench that awful, clawing thirst in no time. Let's see, what do we have here? So, I think I'm a talkative person, so dance floor could be fun, but looking at some of the walls floor, kind of taking somebody from the corner and paying them attention is an easy prey maybe. Bathroom, maybe also, but wallflower. You'd think that crawling for blood would be easier on the dance floor, but I know better. I was literally born at a rave, twice, and spent both these lives dancing the nights away at clubs and bars. I know my way around like nobody else. Sure, some of the people leaning against the walls are there for a reason, to take a break, to have a drag, to find victims of their own. But some of them would like to be part of the crowd. It's just their inhibitions stopping them from stepping in. And I'm here to help them break those barriers. There's a guy sitting with his back against the wall, head in hands, hugging his knees, frozen, paralyzed, clearly on a bad trip. Somebody should haul him out and help him get sober. That somebody isn't me. I can already sense the jazzed up blood, the accelerated heartbeat right beneath his skin, and tonight I'm not in the mood for a molly. How about the teen twitching rhythmically in the corner? Clearly too young to even be in the club. Should I teach them the dangers of the night before it's too late? Nah, that's too much effort. What if they imprint on me like some duckling? Besides, I've already decided on my target. There's a girl, standing by the restrooms in sensible jeans and a tie-dye t-shirt. She has a flustered smile on her face and a beer can in her hand. I bet she poured it out and filled it with water so that none of her friends, long lost in the dancing crowd, felt uncomfortable around her. Her, I can teach. I approach her, straight on, a wide, inviting smile on my lips, and watch her shuffle her feet nervously. When I'm just inches away, she opens her mouth to say something, but instead I cover her lips with my own. I don't hear the surprised sound she makes, but I can feel it. The vibration in her throat under my palm. Outside or in the restroom? I feel like we're right next to the restroom. It might be easier, but outside might be more fun, like with a little fresh air. And she clearly wants to go outside, I think. I skillfully take her by the hand and tuck her outside into a deserted alley with nothing but dumpsters. There I crowd her, a blushing mess, against the wall and kiss her again, knocking down her defenses like dominoes. Feet on the wallflower. She doesn't protest when I move my lips onto her neck and nibble on it. But she sure minds when I bare my fang and take a bite. I don't drain her completely, of course, even though the amount I drink is not nearly enough to completely satisfy me. Honestly, it never is. I let go after a few sips and lower her gently onto the ground. She looks at me, dazed, and struggles to get up, but I put a firm hand on her shoulder, keeping her down. She'll need a minute or two before her head stops spinning. So I just pat her gently on the cheek, ruffle her hair, and disappear into the night like I was never there. For the moment, I'm almost sated. So, a little detour. Now we're going to our temporary haven. If D'Angelo's haven qualified as a hovel, then this temporary shelter of mine is a full-on catastrophe. So utterly dismal, it could force Tommy Wiseau to shed a genuine tear. Mold is practically redecorating the ceiling, and let's not start on the bed. A suspiciously damp mattress that leaks some extra sus fluids onto the floor with each squeeze. Home. Sweet fucking home. But hey, at least that's pretty secure. There's zero chance of sunlight sneaking in here. Maybe because the resident microbes have evolved enough to shut out anything that threatens their germy utopia. I sprawl out on the lumpy mattress and sulk over my dead Walkman, cursing myself for not getting spare batteries. When Reynard pulled that thing out, I legit thought he was going to wiretap me, but turns out he was just gifting me a piece of his past. A little gift from better times, or whatever. Honestly, as if I need another thing to play my tunes. Our gang is not as uptight about going online as the tower, so we stream just like everybody else. But I kinda got hooked, especially with the mountain of old cassettes crammed into our glove box. Digging through my belt bag in search of entertainment yields only the wooden stake that almost pierced my heart the night before. Shit. Almost feels like another lifetime. But the stake sends my thoughts drifting to Patrick. I'm pretty confident, to be honest. Conflicted, to be honest. Can I trust him? He seems to be on my side, caring even, but there's something off about him. Something unsettling. I can't put my finger on it. It doesn't help that he changes the length of my leash for no rhyme or reason. His mood swings faster than the San Francisco weather. It's so annoying that he's now indispensable to my survival. Except for tonight. He was anything but. Still, he introduced me to Mato. My gut's screaming that this is gonna be a game changer for navigating the city, maybe even beyond. Skylar, not so much. And Jess, yeah, I'll hold off on poking at that sore spot for a little longer. At least until after I shake off the dark sleep that's clawing at me, eager, suffocating, steadily pulling me in the abyss. So yeah, we cannot use the internet, that's what the Ever Tower says, because of the Inquisition. But it seems that we anarchs, or non-aligned, we are definitely a little bit more open to that. And now we are at Ritras cruise ship. I would say I've been more than considerate. She responds with silence, that unnerving, calm, icy stare that could easily drive one off the brink of madness. It's a weapon she's owned to perfection. I thought I'd use it by now, but silence threw me as viciously as the very first time. But it slices through me as viciously as the first time. So we're here on a private boat under the bridge, seeing the night sky. How long has it been now? 5, 6 months? Half a year trapped in this endless spin of justification, half-truth, unfulfilled promises, constantly veering, of course. Despite her alleged interest in my unique condition, despite our shared thirst for answers, despite the growing urgency, the resolution to my dilemma always hovers just beyond my grasp. Still, she is the first kindred to make me believe she could truly grant me reprieve. I've been holding up my end of the bargain. Not once have I raised objections. Not once have I strayed from our agreement. But I'm not one of your puppets, Ridra. I thought I made my stance unequivocally clear. That you did. This cannot go on. You need to deliver on your promises, or I'm walking out. I'm walking away. She cracks a smile, as stunning as it's rare, like her dragon flashing its fangs. It suits her, given her true nature. All in due time, dear. All in due time. Who is she? Let's take a quick peek at things. So we have this logbook which we didn't look into. It summarizes the story for us as we came through it. I guess it's clear to me at least at this point. Let's look at the remaining characters here quickly. Jessica, a child of Reynard Cassel. Oh, she's also one of his childer. Oh, so we're kind of sisters. Fed up with his constant lies, left their gang for good a year ago. Now, for the first time in her own life, she relies solely on herself, riding through New York City as a night courier. She'll deliver anything for anyone who pays, at the same time picking up gossip through the city, which she will gladly sell to the highest bidder. Interesting. And Skylar, a thin blood. Okay, well-connected alchemist. Skylar, an albino duskborn, has first-hand information about the blood trade in New York, keeping a tight network of low-profile contact while she strives to appear, though among her Enac peers, her demeanor easily crumbles under the right influence. Yeah, she's not so tough. There's another new word that we forgot to look up. Let's just quickly check, I think. Maybe not. Good. Then we're going to go to deep dark slumber. We are at the Empire of the Sun, night 2. The area outside the Empire of the Sun is pretty sparse, both with mortals and my fellow kindred, so chilling out in front is a big deal. I blend in perfectly, all amped up for whatever's going down tonight. Still, old habits die hard, so I take a sec to study the air. It feels like we already did that. Yeah, we already did that story. So there seems to be a little bit of a bug. So let me just pause here for a second. I'll just restart the game and see if that fixes it. Okay, so I reloaded the game and we are here at the end of the night, so let's end to confirm. Do we wish to end the night? Yes. Night 3. December 2024. 5 nights till New Year. It's painfully obvious that Patrick never believed I'd actually turn up for the meeting. I catch him off guard in front of the Haven, watching him as he leans against the door, absent-minded, anxiously spinning his ring while scanning the surroundings. In the short moment his head is turned away, I creep up quietly and casually, relishing in the oncoming surprise. Some friendly ribbing. Let's try to be friendly. Hey there, pretty boy. You come here often? His head whips around, and for a split second surprise and relief flash across his face before it contorts into confusion. What do you mean? It's my haven. I sleep here. I deflate a bit out of exasperation, but still manage a light-hearted laugh. You're no fun. Apparently he decides to ignore me, slipping back into his usual indifference. He gets into the car. I hop in right after. Let's pay D'Angelo a visit, shall we? Yeah. No time for dilly-dally, right? Correct. I'm pretty sure he's ignoring my sharp-ass remarks on purpose, but the way he slams on the gas pedal, that at least gives me a tiny glimmer of hope that he's not a lost cause yet. Either way, the perfectly serviceable vehicle's doing fine, cruising through the night streets, and this time, it's not even that awkward. D'Angelo, you here? The shithole he calls an office looks just the way I left it 2 nights ago, except for some new pins on the corkboard where he charts as crazy and a trapdoor flung wide open, probably leading down to whatever he hides on during the day. Maybe we should give it a minute. He won't keep us waiting long. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Let's keep it in character. Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's us. I'm not sure what that means. He needs some tough love. Who? Patrick or D'Angelo? Let's keep it in character. Hey, Mr. Detective. You're being paid a visit by a damsel in distress. And then there's me. Patrick rolls his eyes, but to my disappointment, without a comeback. D'Angelo squints at me as he emerges from beneath the floor, his lips moving silently, and I strain my ears to hear it. They appeared like shadows, the kind cast by the worn-out hopes and dreams of this wretched city. Dreams that can only be saved by none other than Gianno D'Angelo. Saved? That's a bit of a stretch, don't you think? He leans back over the rickety table, shaking his head as if to dislodge the noir cliché stuck in his brain. Carly, I presume. As D'Angelo turns to Patrick, I catch a hint of a smirk tucked at the corner of his mouth. Gianni. Patrick. Looks like you're still losing your head. Just not literally, huh? Indeed. The sheriff's is yet to relieve me of my cranial burden. But worry not. There's still time until the new year. You might yet win that little bet of ours. I probably shouldn't pry, given the fact that my own neck is on the line here, but, there's a treasure trove of a relationship they are here to dig into. Anyway, we came here to... There's more to their relationship or the corkboard. I think I'm more extroverted, kind of like I care about relationship. I think this is interesting to dig into. It could also give us leverage about Patrick. Find out how you two clowns know each other. Come on, give me the juicy details. D'Angelo shrugs dismissively. He showed up a while back, pestering me about some A&R girl and her inner voices. Would you believe we clicked over what might just be the greatest movie ever? Which is his way of saying I quoted the Maltese Falcon at him once, completely butchering the line in the process. An A&R girl? You mean, what's her name? Sana? Who got beheaded by the sheriff? D'Angelo's already ugly face twists into an even uglier grimace. Yes, D'Angelo. He stops, tossing the gumshoe a cautious look. Come on. I'm not one to dodge blame. I killed her. You did what a PI does. Tracked her down and brought her in. You weren't the one holding the blade that ended her suffering. Same difference. In a rare bout of tactfulness, I decide to not pursue the subject. I'd love to have catch up with you, Gianni, but we did have an agenda walk in here. A glimmer of light flickers in D'Angelo's shades as he turns towards me. I hate to break it to you, but if you're here for anything on Cassell, you're out of luck. No new leads since we last talked. The gist of it concerns Cassell, broadly speaking, although it's not exactly the crux of our conversation right now. Sweet Lord. Eli Senseric. Where do we find him, Gianni? D'Angelo narrows his eyes, squinting at me suspiciously, and fiddles with his Isaac. The serpent. What's your angle on him? What are you after? He's my ticket out of this mess. He's like the only one of Reynard's contact that doesn't seem to fucking despise him. Since our other lead was a bust, he's my best shot of finding Reynard and shaking the Camarilla off my back. D'Angelo tilts his head like some curious, funky, ugly little rat. Damn! Heard through the grapevine you were marked for the job, but shit. Yeah, and I'd love to dish out all the dirty details, but I'm seriously pressed for time, so where the hell is Senseric? Honestly, your guess is good as mine. D'Angelo takes a long drag of his e-cigarette, as he's really trying to savor the flavor. I wonder if he actually makes an effort to kickstart his taste buds, or if it's just for part of his usual act. Senseric and his serpents are gone from Harlem. Nobody really knows why. I've got theories, but they're just that, so. But you're just itching to tell me, right? I flash him a dazzling smile, but he just growls in return. He takes one more drag to regain his noiresque composure. What was that old line? Water under the bridge. I just give him a curious glance. His answer was just a touch too quick and out there, as if he suddenly got nervous, but D'Angelo speaks up before I can probe any further. Look, I'd be doing you dirty throwing half-baked hints your way. Just Jackson Sarik's usual hangouts. St. Philip's in the vicinity of Morningside Park are your best bets. They're not far from each other. You might just dig something up there. Thanks you, D'Angelo. Those are solid leads. Ah, the faint whiff of sincerity in your bullshit makes it almost charming. I know you're not quite the Glengarry leads you're after, but hey, on these nights, beggars can't be choosers. So, is this intel gonna cost me the usual 2 blood bags? You keep your stash, kiddo. Just clue me in on where Sensaric's hiding once you sniff him out and we're square. His ugly mug suddenly goes serious. He straightens up and steps closer, eyeing both Patrick and me intensely. Last time I warned you that shit's gonna hit the fan soon, but that's old news already. It's way worse now. You can feel it, can't you? I nod, almost instinctively, catching Patrick doing the same. I'm bailing earlier than planned, and I strongly advise you to consider doing the same. I won't sugarcoat it. I could use a lift. And you could use some level-headed advice on the road. He looks genuinely terrified. Patrick and I slowly exchange looks before shaking our heads. I can't. Not just yet. Things are heated. I understand, but at the moment Carly cannot leave. And I have been saddled with helping her in a way I can only describe as non-negotiable. D'Angelo sighs, slumming visibly, and waves his hand dismissively. In that case, just keep your eyes peeled for trouble, right? Yeah. You too, pal. Until next time, D'Angelo. Hopefully under a brighter moon. We're almost at the door when I hear his response, barely louder than a breath. Bright nights are all gone, Only nightmares remain. I should write that down. Patrick and I come to a stop in front of the perfectly serviceable vehicle. We should. Now, I already know the crap you're gonna dish out. No splitting up, Carly. I can't fully trust you yet, Carly. But listen, it's late as hell already, so we gotta hustle. If we both go chasing Sinceric in the same spot, we're all gonna catch at sunrise. We gotta divide and conquer. I concur. See, I knew you... Hold up, what do you mean you concur? A subtle smirk plays at the corner of his mouth before he manages to rein it in. I agree that we have too much ground to cover, and since you're stuck to your word and you didn't flee last time, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt again. I just stare at him, confused as hell, before erupting into laughter. I don't recognize you, man. Where's the stick up the ass, Patty? Where's this loose cannon they replaced him with? Patrick twitches briefly, a smile disappearing without a trace and fingers crawling towards the ring. Don't slip my notice. He bounces back swiftly, though, tucking his hands in his pockets. Let's divide for now. Any preference for where you'd like to head? Yes, we have some interesting choices to make. Yeah, but I believe we will be making them next time. And see you then. Take care.